Supply option walkthrough. Land supply container terminals.
This series of animated short films serve to introduce and explain the various land supply options under the public engagement exercise of the Task Force on Land Supply. Two animated characters, a man and a little girl, are walking through different scenes in the film, explaining the pros and cons as well as the considerations for each land supply option. There are 12 episodes in total. This is the 12th episode, Container Terminals. The animated man and little girl are wearing construction workers' safety vests and helmets. They walk together quickly. Land supply option, Container Terminals.
Hong Kong Port is the 5th busiest container port in the world, among all port facilities in Hong Kong. The Kwai Tsing container terminals handle almost 80% of the throughput of containers in Hong Kong. The Kwai Tsing container terminals occupy 280 hectares of land. Adding the port backup areas nearby, the container terminals cover a total of 380 hectares.
A map appears showing the Kwai Tsing container terminals and its port backup areas.
To maintain the competitiveness of Kwai Tsing container terminals in the long term, there has been suggestions to relocate the terminals and configure the layout, thereby modernizing and upgrading the standard of the port infrastructure. At the same time, relocation could free up the terminal's site for other purposes, for instance, housing development.
The animated man imagines using a mouse to move the container terminal to a new location in a computer game, but the program disallows, saying, "Can't move here, reclamation needed."
You can imagine the challenges of relocating the Kwai Tsing container terminals. Reclamation is probably needed to create a large piece of seafront land for relocation. We need negotiation with the terminal's owners. Relocation will be very costly. While we must ensure seamless transition between the old and new container terminals without affecting the port operation. The relocation project, if implemented, will take long to complete.
The two animated characters walk slowly from now to the end, which takes 20 years.
Besides relocation, another idea raised is to build housing units on elevated platforms about container terminals, such that the existing port operations could be maintained.
New buildings are constructed onto the elevated platform above the container terminals. However, since the terminals operate round the clock, the glare and noise generated at night affect the building users nearby.
But there are concerns over the interface issues about this kind of a land for two usages. With the port operating round the clock, topside development of the terminals involves complicated technical issues and careful assessment of the impacts on the neighborhood, including transportation, air quality, noise, glare, and view. It could be rather challenging to resolve this in short and medium term. Do you support relocation of container terminals or topside development over it? Check out www.landforhongkong.hk and share your opinions.
Super. To be continued. Land for Hong Kong. Our home, our say. Task Force on Land Supply. Website www.landforhongkong.hk. The end.